大家好，我有一杯咖啡。今天我我觉得特别难过，我不想我不想工作、学习，还有做视频。其实我觉得，我觉得情绪，但是我们是后觉得情绪，我们应该做事。所以今天我做视频，呃，今天我想要说 Epstein files. Today I want to talk about the Epstein files. Um, and because um, one thing is I'm still pissed off at the Democrats for caving with the shutdown. 40 days and you get nothing out of it. And people were actually rooting for you. Also, I have no bandana today. It's fine. My hair is it's wild, but here we are. As my sweater is like not fitting very well. I hate that. But anyways, so yeah, Democrats caved, and after they had caved, because they did this Sunday night. Sunday night they had this vote, which really pisses me off because then you don't even give constituents a chance to call in and be like, do not do this, do not do this, right? And so that happened, and then the next day, I um I had tweeted this out. I'm like, if Dems want to save any face after just throwing away possible victory and all their leverage, if they want to save any bit of face, they will push out Epstein files, and they actually did, which is crazy. They just sworn it. They have just sworn in the one rep that was elected in a special election. I can't remember her name right now. They swore her in. She signed on, and they're going. It's forcing a vote to release the Epstein files. That's going to happen next week. Um, but I mean, like part of everything that was happening was Mike Johnson puts the House on recess for 7 weeks because they wanted no more. He wanted no more talks for the time being about the Epstein files, and was using the possibility of a shutdown to kind of steer clear of Epstein file talks. Um, and now it's back. And then before I actually get into it, I do need to relay a lot of my grievances with the Democratic Party and them caving. So, as much as I don't like Chuck Schumer or Hakeem Jeffries, I think they're both weak. Yes, I'm saying that as a leftist. I know um, a lot of liberal mouthpieces are mad at progressives and leftists, but we're right. We're right. We are right, and you can see that with the populace right now, right? Like Democrats, and this is one thing that really pisses me off. Democrats were the polls were in their favor on the shutdown. People were blaming the Republicans much more than the Democrats, and they were killing it. They were killing it. Even if the messaging was bad, everyone realized that, oh, the Republicans are doing some batshit crazy things, threatening to let people go hungry. That's a crazy thing to do. Um, and then like going even a step further with it, where they're told like, hey, you actually have to release the or you have to use the contingency funds to get to roll out SNAP benefits, and they're like, nah, just no. We're actually going to go to Supreme Court. We're going to go to our friends in the Supreme Court and ask them to put a hold on that, and they got it. Um, Like they were hell bent on just letting people go hungry. You had every every classist, every racist person come out of the woodworks on social media talking about how much they hate people getting SNAP benefits, especially if they're black or brown. And it was just it was the wildest thing. But also the mass fucking layoffs that the Republicans did. Trump and Vought just went to town, laying off every person that they could. Um, I mean, they just did some awful things, and because of that, the Democrats were polling ahead, and people overall were like people were happy that the Democrats were showing some type of spine. They were actually fighting against the Republicans. Then come along the spoilers in the party to actually open it, and they got nothing. They got nothing. The fucking they all they got was, you know, the word of some of their Republican colleagues that they'll bring a healthcare subsidies to a vote. It's not you're not going to get it. Even if you do get that vote, the Republicans will not vote for it. And so it's like you just gave away all the fucking leverage that you had. And Chuck Schumer, weak ass pansy, couldn't just whip everybody into alignment on this. And it's just like, how are you so bad at this? How are you so incredibly bad? You had victory. What are people saying? Um uh, uh swiping or God, oh, um swiping defeat from the jaws of victory. That's what it is. Way great way to put it. They were winning. They had it. uh Excuse me. And I'm so pissed off at them. I was so mad, and I'm still mad. It's just it's ridiculous. um if they're and like the spoilers in the party, most of them aren't up for re-election until 2028 at the earliest. One is 2030, and one or two are retiring. So it's like they are safe, and they're the those Democrats are always the spoilers, the ones who know that their seat is safe, or the ones who are retiring. They are the spoilers in the party, and they do need to be purged out of the party. They can go somewhere else. Hell, they might as well just go join the Republicans, because at this point, that's what they are, light Republicans. Um, so yeah, I'm not gonna go off on a tangent anymore on that. Um, and plenty news around it. This is the Epstein files. This is what's out right now. I was gonna talk about something else, but this is kind of what's going on in the news. And I felt like, hey, I might as well cover it. I was gonna do some learning today about some historical stuff, but I could save that for next time. So let's go ahead. I have an article um, up about the Epstein files, but let me quickly bring up um, one more. Um, so as you all may know, the Epstein files are in the news once again. Um, Trump thought he could get away with this, and for a while, it seemed like everyone forgot about this. The committee that's overseeing this clearly did not forget about this. They had a number of emails come out recently, and some of them do implicate Donald J. Trump. Um, and there's a whole host of things that have kind of distracted people from the Epstein files. The government shutdown being one of them. The deployment of National Guard, um, protest, deployment of Marines, even. Now you have the United States building up a military presence in the Caribbean, kind of and getting ready to most likely wage war against Venezuela. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of feel like the fact that Epstein files are in the news again might fast track this the possibility of war with Venezuela and probably some other South American countries, because I mean, listen, like um, America has already left a bad taste in South America, historically speaking. So I don't see I don't see South American countries just kind of letting this go and letting Venezuela come under attack without some kind of support. Um, but yeah, there's been a lot in terms of why the Epstein files kind of we got distracted from them. Also, I should definitely mention Charlie Kirk being murdered. Um, definitely a distraction, and people calling the right calling the left terrorists for the last 3 months. um, so yeah, I have an article here by Associated Press. Um, so we'll go ahead and look at that. I also have one from The Hill that I want to look at as well. And Twitter has been going kind of nutty with Epstein files, especially yesterday. I was just going through my timeline. I'm just seeing account after account after account talking about they're defending Trump with the Epstein files list. I mean, Trump is definitely pissed off by this. Caroline Levitt was sent in to do damage control. Fox News is trying to do damage control. It's not looking very good. Um, there's a lot of information that has come out. Let's go ahead and read it from Washington AP. Jeffrey Epstein wrote in 2019 email to a journalist that Donald Trump knew about the girls, according to documents made public Wednesday. But what he knew and whether it pertained to the sex offenders' crimes is unclear. I do. I have since the initial resurgence of the Epstein files, I have been on the idea that Trump definitely knew about the sex trafficking and possibly helped in the sex trafficking. That has been my theory. I don't know yet. Obviously, they are fighting hard to keep these files under wrap. And Trump earlier this year was not beating allegations. By the way, he was saying everything that a guilty person would say. I digress. Um, I can't just be like, oh, he definitely did it. I'm small, I'm nobody, but still. The White House quickly accused Democrats of selectively leaking the emails to smear the president. That's like one of the main arguments. It's like, oh, why are they doing this now? Why didn't they do this under Joe Biden? Well, because the we all know that there are some prominent Democrats that were buddy buddy with Epstein. We all know that. That's why this would implicate so many people. That's why neither party has pushed until now to get this released, because it just begs a lot of questions. I mean, especially, and I think a lot of people forget this. Jeffrey Epstein died in prison when Donald Trump was president. I'm just putting that out there. Democrats in the House Oversight Committee released three emails referencing Trump, including one Epstein wrote in 2011 in which he told confidant Ghislaine Maxwell that Trump had spent hours at Epstein's house with a sex trafficking victim. The disclosure seemed designed to raise new questions about Trump's friendship with Epstein and about what knowledge he may have had regarding what prosecutors call a years-long effort by Epstein to exploit underage girls. The Republican businessman turned politician has consistently denied any knowledge of Epstein's crimes and has said he ended their relationship years ago. That is the other defense argument that people are making in defense of Trump is that, oh, Trump said that he cut ties with Epstein once he learned about the sex trafficking, and it is not as simple as that, guys. It is just not. Um, from what has been released, is painting a picture that Trump knew long before, and that there's something else that um, ended the friendship, if it ended, because they could have been friends still behind closed doors. We just don't know. We don't know, and it's like that's part of getting to the bottom of these things, and also who else is implicated. It's not just Trump that would be implicated in this. There are so many high level or high profile people like Prince Andrews. I'm sorry, former Prince Andrews, um, that could be implicated in this, and people want to know like this. You can't get away from this. There's no getting away from this. Americans are too tapped in to conspiracies in general, but also this one. This one is so close to people. Um, Partly because of how the Republicans talk about sex trafficking and how they are, against protecting kids and whatnot. So this is something that their base eats up. They've been on this for a decade now, and probably longer, and they're just like they're trying to this is where they're going to throw some red meat out for their base to be like, let's get away from this, get away from this. Here's this, here's that, right? So we'll see what their tactics are. Right now, they're trying to do some damage control, and then they will probably try to find some type of distraction. As they're calling this one a distraction from, I don't know, the fact that Democrats just gave away their only leverage. I don't know. I mean, this was, I mean, the logical next step in ending the shutdown is to release this, especially because you have that 218th sign on that you needed to get to force the vote. You know what I mean? The version of the 2011 email released by the Democrats redacted the name of the victim, but Republicans on the committee later said it was Virginia Guffrey, who accused Epstein of arranging for her to have sexual encounters with a number of his rich and powerful friends. Epstein took his own life in a New York jail in 2019 while awaiting trial on federal charges. Nobody believes this. Nobody believes this. By the way, there's like this was the most one of the most suspicious deaths of our lifetimes. Like straight up, everything was so inconclusive. So the fact that they even put this in here instead of like allegedly took his own life is wild to me. Nobody believes this as a fact. The emails made public Wednesday are part of a batch of 23,000 documents provided by Epstein's estate to the Oversight Committee. Guffrey said Trump couldn't have been friendlier. Guffrey, who died earlier this year, again, a lot of conspiracy theories around that one. I probably was just a car accident. I don't know. I didn't look into it that much. Long insisted that Trump was not among the men who had victimized her. In a court deposition, she said under oath that she didn't believe Trump had any knowledge of Epstein's misconduct with underage girls. And in her recently released memoir, she described meeting Trump only once when she worked at a spa attendant at his Mar-a-Lago club in Palm Beach, Florida, and did not accuse him of wrongdoing. This kind of makes me believe that it's possible that the redacted name is not Virginia Guffrey and that they just kind of threw that one out there as a way of saying there's nothing here because the person who, the redacted name is actually Virginia Guffrey. So by, by that estimate, if it's her and she has said that, she met Trump once and nothing happened, then all is clear. This is fake. This, has not. This says nothing, right? It makes me believe that they're just going with that as a way of damage control. It's pointing the finger, trying to point the finger in the opposite direction of where there's something like actual information. It seems like I don't know what the term is. Guthrie wrote that she was introduced to Trump by her father, who also worked at the club. She described Trump as friendly and said he offered to help her get babysitting jobs with parents at the club. Trump couldn't have been friendlier, Guthrie wrote. Other members of Epstein's household staff also said in sworn depositions that while Trump did not stop by Epstein's house, they didn't see him engage in any inappropriate conduct. Republicans say emails released to tarnish Trump. White House spokeswoman Caroline Leavitt said Democrats selectively leaked emails to create fake narrative to smear President Trump. Trump, writing on his Truth Social platform, said that where am I? Oh, his Truth Social platform said Democrats are trying to bring up the Jeffrey Epstein hoax again because they'll do anything at all to deflect on how badly they've done on the government shutdown and so many other subjects. I do believe that they did a terrible job with the government shutdown. At the end, they were doing fine. For the first, what was it, like 40? Was it 40 days? Doing fine, and then they just decided, you know what? No, we can't. We actually cannot win. The Democrats hate winning. They're afraid of winning, and it shows. But again, this was the logical next step to go ahead and push for this vote and release these files. There should be no deflections to Epstein or anything else, and any Republicans involved should be focused on only on opening up our country and fixing the massive damage caused by Democrats. Trump wrote in July. Trump said he had banned Epstein from Mar-a-Lago. His one-time friend was taking people who worked for me, including Guthrie. The women he said were taken out of the spa, hired by him. In other words, gone. So that's if you probably already know this, but part of the theory is that Epstein could have been poaching workers and possibly clientele as well. Well, I don't know exactly, but that's what, when that came out, that's kind of what I had inferred from it. Inferred. What did I say? Anyways, I said, listen, we don't want you taking our people, Trump told reporters. Asked if Guthrie was one of the employees poached by Epstein. The president demurred, but then said Epstein stole her. What does that mean? I don't know. I don't know, and I don't want to say anything, but it seems a little shady, guys. Shortly after Democrats released the Trump-related emails, committee Republicans countered by disclosing what they said was an additional 20,000 pages of documents from Epstein's estate. Among them were a trove of emails written over several years by Epstein, including many where he commented often unfavorably on Trump's rise in politics and corresponded with journalists. Emails revive questions about Trump's relationship with Epstein. The release resurfaces a story that had shadowed Trump's presidency during the summer when the FBI and the Justice Department abruptly announced that they would not be releasing additional documents that investigators had spent weeks examining, disappointing conspiracy theorists and online sleuths who had expected to see new revelations. Do y'all remember when they were like, "Oh, we are phasing out phasing out? I mean, like, we are getting out the Epstein files in phases," and they had the fucking right wing journalists go to the White House. They gave them binders with like a little bit of stuff in there, and they had like this huge like photo op of them with these binders, and there was shit all in there. There was nothing in there. There was nothing in there. They never touched it again. They tried to get away from it, and it's because Trump is implicated. It is that simple. Everything he said after that absolutely makes him look guilty. He was saying shit that a guilty person would say if they are not. And here's the thing, he's actually like a pathological liar. Like he's supposed to be good at lying. But this is one of those, I think this is one of those things where he is so afraid of it getting out that he had something to do, had a part in this, that he has been lying badly, like in a bad way, like a kid would do. Um I'm trying to think of a good example of something a kid would say to get out of trouble. That's because that's what he's doing. That is what Trump is doing. He's making arguments that a child would make, and it's just making him look more and more guilty. Um, so they have, oh, okay. So here are some of them. Can I click? I don't want to download it. I should be able to zoom in here. Okay. So from I guess this is his name Maxwell. Um okay, I'm wait, who is this from? This is from Ghislaine Maxwell, right? That's what G Max is. To G Vacation. I is that is Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, this is from her to Epstein. Importance high. I have been thinking about that. And this is what Epstein said. I want you to realize, oh God, that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Victim redacted spent hours at my house with them. He has never once been mentioned. Police chief, etc. I'm a 75% there. So this is like the him kind of like having some type of leverage on Trump at this point. Here's the redacted victim name, and again, one of the only redacted names from the Epstein files is Virginia Giuffre. So I'm of the mind that they are putting her name out there because it's an unredacted name and they can get away with doing that. And by doing that, because of what Virginia Giuffre has said in the past, it kind of will throw people off the trail of Trump. Um, okay, that's one of the emails. Here's another one. Victim Mar-a-Lago redacted. Trump said he asked me to resign. Never a member ever. Of course, he knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop. Okay, I was like, is it gonna be more? Okay, so you reading that again. The victim at Mar-a-Lago redacted. Trump said he asked me to resign. Never a member ever. So I'm guessing that's Epstein saying he was not a member of Mar-a-Lago. Uh, and of course, he knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop. So this it's not clear on what the timeline of this is, which is interesting to me. So then, and another one, I think you should let him hang himself. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the house, then that gives you a valuable PR and political currency. You can hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you, or if it really looks like he could win, you could save him, generating a debt. Of course, it is possible that, when asked, he'll say Jeffrey is a great guy and has gotten a raw deal and is a victim of political correctness, which is to be outlawed in a Trump regime. This is okay. This is him, Epstein, and Michael Wolff talking about possible way for Epstein to save himself by either uh, uh, giving up evidence against Trump if he needs to in order to gain himself some kind of leniency, or if it's to his advantage, um, again talk about Trump favorably in order to get something from Trump. which is a tactic that just about every world leader at this point is using. Give Trump something and he's going to give you what you want. Say something good about Trump, Trump is going to give you what you want. And so that's what this whole plan was. I hear CNN planning to ask Trump tonight about this relationship with you, either on air or in Scrum afterwards. All right, we got some more. Um, Victim Mar-a-Lago asked to resign. Okay, Michael. Oh wait, did I see them all then? That might have been all the ones that have been released. Yeah. Okay. Those are all the ones that have been released. Let's zoom out again. Excuse me. And one 2019 email to journalist Michael Wolff, who has written extensively about Trump. Epstein wrote of Trump. Sorry. In 2019, email to journalist Michael Wolff, who has written extensively about Trump. Epstein wrote of Trump. Of course, he knew about the girls, as he asked Ghislaine to stop. In 2000 or in April, in an April 2nd, 2011 email to Maxwell, a former Epstein girlfriend now in prison for conspiring to engage in sex trafficking, Epstein wrote, "I want you to realize that the dog that has embarked is Trump. Virginia spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned, police chief, etc. I'm 75% there." Maxwell replied the same day, "I've been thinking about that." Levitt said the person referenced in the emails is Guthrie, who had accused Britain's then Prince Andrew and other influential men of sexually exploiting her as a teenager, and who died by suicide in April. Andrew, who was recently stripped of his titles and evicted from his royal residence by King Charles III after weeks of pressure to act over his relationship with Epstein, has rejected Guthrie's allegations and said he didn't recall meeting her. I don't sweat. It couldn't have been me because I don't sweat. Um, that's him. And also, again, the I didn't remember it being by suicide. Virginia Guthrie. I thought it was a car accident, but I didn't follow that one too closely. Still, if it is a suicide, it's still a little suspicious considering Jeffrey Epstein's circumstances were so suspicious. It wasn't clear what Epstein meant by saying that Trump was a dog that had embarked, but both he and Maxwell and other correspondents accused Guthrie of fabricating stories about her supposed sexual interaction with famous men. Wait. But both he and Maxwell and other correspondents accused Guthrie of fabricating stories about her supposed sexual interactions with famous men. Levitt said in a statement that Guthrie had repeatedly said President Trump was not involved in any wrongdoing whatsoever and couldn't have been friendlier to her in their limited interactions. The fact remains that President Trump kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of his club decades ago for being a creep to his female employees, including Guthrie. The statement said, "These stories are nothing more than bad faith efforts to distract from President Trump's historic accomplishments, and any American with common sense sees right through this hoax and clear distraction from the government opening back up again." I'm sorry. They say any American with common sense. I mean, your base are the people who believed in Pizzagate, guys. Pizzagate. There was a whole incident over Pizzagate. This is where Americans are. Americans only have conspiracies at this point. They're so in their heads about these things because they have nothing else. They have nothing else. The government refuses to give any information about anything that people hold close and want to know about. And it's like she's basically talking about her own base. MAGA is full of conspiracy theorists. The White House is full of conspiracy theorists. Conspiracy theorists and Nazis is what we have in this administration. It's a fucking clown show. Messages seeking comment were left with Wolff, Maxwell attorney David Marcus, and representatives for Guthrie's family. Maxwell's interview with the Justice Department. And this is the other thing. At the height of the Epstein files from this year, Trump's own personal former lawyer, I think former personal lawyer, went and talked to Ghislaine Maxwell. What ended up happening was she was moved to a different prison, a low security prison where she is like she is has so much more freedom. They gave her a fucking deal. And what did she do? She came out and said, "Oh yes, Trump had nothing to do with it. Trump did not do anything to those girls." Okay, it's like, excuse me, do we not? Can we not put two and two together? Is that are we incapable of doing that? Like it's insane to me. How do we not see that this was a fucking deal in front of our eyes with someone who um who was a what's the term? Not accomplice, kind of, but second in command on the sex trafficking. Like that's insane. Maxwell interviewed with Justice Department. Maxwell interviewed in July by Justice Department's second in command, repeatedly denied witnessing any sexual appropriate interactions involving Trump. My bad. He's a second in command at the DOJ. Um, and Trump's personal lawyer. I actually never saw the president in any type of massage setting, Maxwell told Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. According to a transcript of the interview, I never witnessed the president in an inappropriate setting in any way. The president was never inappropriate with anybody. In the times that I was with him, he was a gentleman in all respects. Guthrie came forward publicly after an initial investigation ended in a 18-month Florida jail term for Epstein, who made a secret deal to avoid federal prosecution by pleading guilty instead of relatively minor state level charges of soliciting prostitution. He was released in 2009. The other thing is like, was it Alex Acosta worked to get Epstein that sweetheart plea deal, right? And Alex Acosta got a spot in the government in Trump's first term. The shit runs deep. It is a shit show, and it runs fucking deep. All right, these people are the swamp. In subsequent lawsuits, Guthrie said she was a teenage spa attendant at Mar-a-Lago when she was approached in 2000 by Maxwell. Lawyers for Maxwell, a British socialite, have argued that she never should have been tried or convicted for her role in luring teenage girls to be sexually abused by Epstein. She is serving a 20-year prison term, though she was moved from a low security federal prison in Florida to a minimum security prison camp in Texas after the Blanche interview. I wonder how she managed to do that. And I'm sorry, it was low security, not max security. I don't know if I said max security, but I think I said she was moved to low security. She was moved to minimum security after talking to Blanche, um, indicating that there was some kind of deal for her statements. Number of Republicans voting to release Epstein files could snowball. Let's read about this. Thomas Massey is an interesting character to me. I don't know much about him. Yeah. Anyways, who is Thomas? Yeah, Representative Thomas Massey, Republican from was it Kentucky? Right, KY is Kentucky. Who was leading the effort to force a vote on the full release of the files tied to the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, said he is hopeful the number of Republicans backing the measure could snowball. I've already had a couple of Republicans tell my office privately that they are going to vote for it, Massey told CNN's Manu Raju outside of the Capitol on Wednesday. And I think that could snowball, he added. Speaker Mike Johnson said Wednesday he will call a vote on the measure next week, speeding up the process after a discharge petition garnered the final signature needed to force action on the matter from newly sworn in Rep. Adelita Grijalva. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. Also, I just wanted to note, like, famously, Mike Johnson knows nothing about anything of importance ever. Um, Daily Show did a thing on it, and some more news on YouTube did a thing on it. I think that's really interesting. Without cooperation from GOP leadership, the earliest vote would have happened under the discharge petition process. Was early happened under this. Sorry, discharge petition process was early December. I also wanted to note that Mike Johnson actually earlier this year put the House on recess to stop talks about releasing the Epstein files, just so we're clear where the Republicans are right now, and it is protecting pedophiles. That's just it. Um, Massey told Raju that this goal is to get a veto-proof majority to vote on a full release of the files. The Kentucky Republican recognized that the vote could be difficult for Republicans who don't want to break from President Trump, but he urged his colleagues to think about the long-term consequences of voting against the measure. The deal for Republicans on this vote is that Trump will protect you if you vote the wrong way, Massey said. In other words, if you vote to cover up for pedophiles, you've got cover in a Republican primary. This is true. Again, they are protecting pedophiles in order to stay in Trump's good grace. Trump's good grace goes a long way with MAGA voters and evangelical voters too. I guess evangelical voters, a lot of them are MAGA, but you know. But I would remind my colleagues that this vote is going to be on your record for longer than Trump is going to be president. He continued. And what are you going to do in 2028 and 2030 when you're in a debate, either with a Republican or a Democrat? And they say, "How can we trust you? You covered up for a pedophile back in 2025." Massey, along with Rep. Rokana, introduced the petition in September, but lacked the necessary votes at a time to push it over the finish line. Movement on the measure came after Grijalva was sworn in on Wednesday ahead of a vote to reopen the government after a record-long shutdown. The House was out for nearly 2 months amid the lapse in funding. Democrats on Wednesday released emails from Epstein that raised new questions about the extent of Trump's knowledge of disgraced financiers' relationship with underage girls. Then he said the White House and Trump dismissed the significance of the new emails, and the president urged Republicans not to engage with Democrats on the issue. The GOP-led House Oversight Committee also released thousands of files amid its Epstein probe, including spreadsheets, images of books on the topic, and correspondence between convicted sex offenders and various associates. Trump and the White House are currently in a panic over this. And it shows here is Trump's Truth Social post. The Democrats are trying to bring up the Jeffrey Epstein hoax again because they'll do anything at all to deflect on how badly they've done on the shutdown and so many other subjects. Only a very bad or stupid Republican would fall into that trap. The Democrats cost our country $1.5 trillion with their recent antics of viciously closing our country, while at the same time putting many at risk, and they should pay a fair price. There should be no deflections to Epstein or anything else, and any Republican involved should be focused only on opening up our country and fixing the massive damage caused by Democrats. Keep in mind, also, that the Republicans just faced a pretty jarring loss last Tuesday in off-season elections, and they lost out on the affordability argument especially, and Zohran Mamdani was won the election in New York, and they are kind of running like chickens with their heads cut off right now, and they're trying to do damage control, which is why Trump has come out and said, "Oh, we're thinking about putting money into healthcare savings accounts for Americans so that they can go and buy healthcare." Like, what? How does that look? What do you mean to buy their healthcare? They're going to go, and this is like to allow them to be like entrepreneurs, and it's just like how does this work? You give them money and they go to the doctor and said, I want to pay you to do this thing, this operation. Like what? Like this doesn't it, I mean it hasn't it's weird because he's like, oh, we don't want the premium, the subsidies for the premiums to go to the health insurers. So we're just gonna give money directly to Americans to pay for healthcare. But it's like, how would that work? How would that work? Would they still, you say you don't want the insurance companies, but you don't say that you're getting rid of insurance companies? I mean, it's just kind of I think it's just a thing that he threw out there. They don't really have a plan. Republicans haven't had a plan for healthcare ever, ever. Like, they've been trying to get rid of the ACA for over a decade, and they've never proposed anything new. Trump just goes out and says something, and people kind of, his followers, his fan base, eat it up, and yeah. But they are flailing. They are. I have hold on, give me just a moment here. All right, so I have Donald Trump speaking on this. He is pissed. Okay, this is a clip. Okay, so in an unusual move, Trump just ignored every single question about Jeffrey Epstein after the bill signing, and panicked White House staff started kicking reporters out of the room. Yeah, never been more obvious. He's he does not want to talk about it, and they're not going to let him talk about it. Yeah, they're getting people out fast. That's crazy. I've never he's never been the one to not answer questions. He loves it. He loves the goddamn spotlight. But they probably told him before this, do not answer any questions because they're going to be about the Epstein files. And obviously they're going to be about the Epstein files. They're trying to get away from this so hard. Don't care about Gavin Newsom. I wanted to find knew that Donald Trump was a pedophile the whole time. It was helping Jeffrey Epstein strategically strategize how to capitalize on it, which means Michael Wolff is just as guilty as the rest of them. Um, I wanted to find. Wait, what is this one? You see, I know how dirty Donald is. My guess is that non-lawyers, he's God, dude, I can't stand the way he typed. It's actually hurting my brain. New York biz people have no idea what it means to have your fixer flip. You see, I know how dirty Donald is. My guess is that non-lawyer New York biz people have no idea what it means to have your fixer flip. Wait, who's the fixer? It makes no difference whether it was his money. Issue is failure to disclose plus fact that he has lied his ass off about it makes clear that he knew it was illegal. Wait, I think he makes the argument. Okay, it's bottom up, right? So I think he makes the argument that it was his Trump's money, making it not illegal. Though he also said he only found out afterwards, and the fact, according to the indictment, was billed as services rendered and gross grossed up. I'm sure his account has flipped anyway. I did talk in detail to start yesterday. Re-indictments, how Trump can make a deal. Special counsel Clinton's trash can. Yes. Star gave me more. What is this typing, dude? This is hurting my brain. The principal case for impeachment is clear. What's missing is the courage. I think he makes the argument that it was his Trump's money, making it not illegal. Though he also said only found out afterwards, and the fact, according to the indictment, was billed as services rendered and grossed up. I'm sure his account has flipped anyway. I did talk in detail to Star yesterday in re-indictments how Trump can make a deal. Special counsel Clinton's trash can. Yes, Star gave me more. It makes no more. It makes no difference whether it was his money. Issue is failure to disclose. Plus, fact that he has lied his ass off about it makes clear that he knew it was illegal. You see, I know how dirty Trump is. My guess is that non-lawyer New York biz people have no idea what it means to have your fixer flip. Is Trump the fixer? Here, I have so many questions. If Democrats aren't Jeffrey Epstein's, okay. Um, The dog that didn't bark a little secret ages. It's just cuck turd, not cat turd. Okay. When Peter Thiel came out to you about his contacts with Jeffrey Epstein, he said he went for tax advice. That was fun. Yeah, he should face the consequences. Release the Epstein files about fucking time. Um, Midas touch. Epstein bombshell. Newly released emails show Jeffrey Epstein told Ghislaine Maxwell that Donald Trump spent hours at my house, knew about the girls, and that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. We know about that. Responding to a 2017 message that Trump was so gross, Jeffrey Epstein said Trump was worse in real life and up close. What? Sent from my iPad. Trump is so gross. Redacted. Worse in real life and up close. Hard to imagine. He really does. Hard to imagine. He really does remind me of MacGyver, and I am suffering PTSD. If he's MacGyver, are you Marla Maples? No, I ranked much, much lower. Who's Kath? Who's Kathy Rumler? Wow, I don't know who that is. I haven't even seen all of these. Breaking Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump have spent Thanksgiving together in 2017. I did recently hear about this one. This is supposedly after they had cut ties. Hope today is fun for you. This is from him to Faith Cates. Fun. When are you back in NYC? Oh yeah, fun exclamation points. All next week. Okay, Dylan, will want to see you. I always want to see you. Where are you going to have Thanksgiving? It says EVA. I don't know what Eva is. It Eva? That means Glenn check out. That means Glenn check out his red hair. This is confusing me, by the way. Barry's color for holiday. He's such a snooze. Who else is down there? David, Faisal, Hanson, Trump. Have fun. I don't really think that implicates him as having dinner or Thanksgiving dinner with Trump, but hey, I don't know. But yeah, guys, there's a lot here. It appears that this email blew below that New York Times reporting is tipping Jeffrey Epstein off about NYPD investigations. Okay. He is digging around again, not clear if it's another book or expanded paperback version. Was asking me all sorts of questions about why you hired Ken Starr. I told him I had no idea. I think he is doing some Trump related digging too. Anyway, for what it's worth. Wow. That below that, a New York Times reporter is tipping Jeffrey Epstein off about NYPD investigating. From Drop Site. Oh, this is from Drop Site News. I did hear about this. Epstein's close ties to Israeli intelligence and Israeli former prime minister. Epstein was blackmailing politicians to advance Israel's interests, release the files, and prosecute the pedophiles. Yep. That's the part that mainstream media is not talking about. You mean to tell me the Rush hoax wasn't a hoax? I'm starting to see why Jeffrey Epstein was never leaving that jail cell. Let's read one more, a couple more maybe. Okay. So this is from Jeffrey Epstein. I don't know who this person is. I think he might suggest to Putin that Lavrov can get insight on talking to me. Vitally Turkin used to, but he died. Used to Vitali. Okay, used to, but he died. I'll meet Lavrov's assistant on Monday and will suggest. Thank you for your lovely evening. I'll come to an unhigh level week. Turkin was great. He understood Trump after our conversations. It is not complex. He must be seen to get something. It's that simple. What is going on? This is actually wild. 1992, Donald Trump, Ghislaine Maxwell, and Jeffrey Epstein appear together at the party. Trump had sex with a minor. He should not be president of the United States. That is all. Yeah, no, yeah. QAnon cultists in 2017. In this 1,879 page thread, I will unravel the Byzantine system of code words and phrases the global elite used to mask their pedophile cabal. Jeffrey Epstein writing an email at the same time. Hello, it's me, Jeff. Had fun committing sex crimes with you last weekend. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a pretty good point. Newly surfaced emails to Jeffrey Epstein and his lawyers claiming that Trump spent multiple hours with the victim. Yep, read that one. Oh, I wanted to bring this one up. Why not just go ahead and release the Epstein files and get this over with? Is this the one I have? I might be the one I have bookmarked. I'll check. Sorry, guys. I just realized the last video I showed didn't have audio.
This administration has done more with respect to transparency when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein than any administration ever. In fact, this administration, the Department of Justice, has turned over tens of thousands of documents to the American people. We are cooperating and showing support. Why not just go ahead?
Yeah, hey, remember that when you were phasing doing releasing information in phases, you only did phase 1 and it was just a binder full of stupid shit. Remember that Levitt? Remember when you guys did that? Yeah, you've released so much information. Again, guys, sorry about earlier in the video. I didn't have audio on. That's my fault. It was Trump not answering questions. I know how dirty Donald is. We all do. Yeah. Happy Thursday, everyone who knows that the only reason Trump kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago is because he stole girls from him. Trump admitted it himself. Yep. Yeah, and it's I'm a little annoyed that I am not seeing
about it all of a sudden because
okay, that's I did want to listen to. Oh my god, pause. I fucking hate Twitter videos sometimes. So yeah, I wanted to play this as well. This is again from the same press conference. Let's give it a listen.
They're talking about it all of a sudden because President Trump is in the Oval Office, but when Joe Biden was sitting in there, the Democrats never brought this up. This wasn't an issue that they cared about because they actually don't care about the victims in these cases.
Counterpoint. There's a lot of people in that list, and a lot of them are both from the Republican Party and from the Democrat Party, and most likely some donors out there too. There's reasons why neither Republicans or Democrats wanted to release this. So she's talking about it like the Democrats could have done it when Joe Biden was in office, which, I mean, yeah, there's some truth to that. But also when Trump was president last time in 2016. when he was in office from 2016 to 2021, why didn't the Republicans release it? Why didn't they do it? If they cared about the victims too, or if they care about the victims so much of sex trafficking, why didn't they release it? That's my counterpoint to you. The fact of the matter is, there's a lot of powerful people that will be implicated in these files, and that's why neither party before now wanted to release them. You got a bunch of Republicans, Lauren Boebert, who signed her name to this petition and will not take it off. Nancy Mace signed her name in the petition and is dodging calls from President Trump right now because people want the release of the Epstein files. And if nothing else, the Republicans who have signed on to this petition at the very least want to look good to their constituents because they've got primaries coming up or they're running for governor of South Carolina, which, by the way, Nancy Mace would be the worst governor, okay, for South Carolina, if that were to happen. Just putting that out there. She a freak. She a real freak.
They care about trying to score political points against President Trump, as we have, of course, seen with this government shutdown. And this entire thing, again, it's not a coincidence to the American people at home. There are no coincidences in Washington, D.C. And it is not a coincidence that the Democrats leaked these emails to the fake news.
Wait, y'all, did she take off the cross necklace for this? Hold up. Hold up. She did, right? Yo, she took off the necklace. She don't have the necklace on today. Oh, she didn't have the necklace on. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Oh my god. Oh my god. Uh, that's how you spell it, right? Yeah. Can't type right now. Oh, I can't type. There we go. There we go. Listen. I'm just saying. Can I hashtag that? Here we go. God damn. Oh my god, I cannot type today. All right, let's finish it. Let's finish
This
it.
morning, ahead of Republicans reopening the government. This is another distraction campaign by the
She
Democrats and the liberal media.
she know she was coming in to do some wrong shit. You took off that necklace. You knew. You just knew you could not have that on there and pretend to be a good Christian while lying about something so important. Oh, so dude. I'm so glad I caught
Yes,
that.
that's why I'm being asked questions about Epstein instead of the government reopening because of Republicans and President Trump. Now they're talking about it all of a sudden because
She knew she was gonna have to go out there and lie. That's a bad Christian right there. Bad Christian. Oh, this one came up earlier for me. To MAGA just waited out. The liberals are going crazy over this whole Epstein thing. The timing of this isn't just to distract people. They knew that Donald Trump is already getting information about the true whereabouts of who was involved with Epstein. Trust the process, patriots. Trump knows what he is doing. Yeah, he's trying to get out of trouble. That's what he's trying to do. He's sweating bullets right now, all right? He's trying to hide that left hand and hide the sweat. All right? He's going to be cooked. He's going to be cooked. Um yeah. Anything else that I can catch? Because there was so much yesterday. Um, I think that's about it for now. All right, y'all. I'm there. Yeah. All right. Well, that just crashed. All right, everybody. Take care. I'll see you next time. Peace.